We are now learning about 2 more lawsuits from parents saying that BrightPath, that daycare center in Avon, failed to protect their children from a man accused of sexually assaulting multiple little boys.
NBC Connecticut's Melissa Cooney joins us now here in the studio. Melissa, the criminal investigation is ongoing, but we're talking about civil suits today against the daycare owner specifically, right?
Right. So in addition to John Carlos Berrios Otero facing criminal charges for sexual assault, these are now the second and third civil lawsuits against Busy Bees, which is the corporate parent company of BrightPath. All 3 complaints say their children were in the care of BrightPath employees when they experienced sexual assault, abuse, and sexually inappropriate conduct by Berrios Otero.
2 more families coming forward saying BrightPath failed to protect their children from a man accused of sexual assault. An attorney for the families saying those parents trusted BrightPath to keep their kids safe, and they deserve honesty about how this happened. These suits were filed as Berrios Otero's criminal case is ongoing, facing multiple sexual assault and risk of injury to a child charges. Police say they identified 6 incidents involving 5 children, where Berrios Otero sexually assaulted young boys aged 3 to 5 years old during nap time. Both lawsuits are seeking no less than $15,000 from the parent companies, saying in part that BrightPath failed to act upon prior complaints about Berrios Otero in the past, failed to adequately supervise children, and failed to properly train their staff about sexual abuse signs. They claim the children have experienced physical and emotional pain, a loss of safety, and developmental stunting as a result of Berrios Otero's actions, which they say BrightPath failed to prevent.
It was never an isolated incident. We knew that from the beginning. It was part of a pattern and practice.
That's one of the attorneys for the family speaking about the case generally in April. Last week, BrightPath shared that Berrios Otero had filled in at other BrightPath locations in Simsbury, Windsor, and West Hartford, but the daycare chain wasn't aware of complaints at those locations.
Now, we have reached out to the spokespeople for BrightPath and we're waiting to hear back. But this just in, BrightPath sent a message to families this afternoon saying that Berrios Otero had no prior convictions, was thoroughly vetted, and met all background check requirements by the state. The letter says there were no prior complaints or incidents related to these accusations and says all employees are mandated reporters who were required by law to report suspicion of abuse. Now, in that letter, they also said when he filled in at 3 other locations. We have those dates and times on our website, nbcconnecticut.com. Guys.